There is a giant misunderstanding about what religious deconstruction really is. Hey, I'm Dan the Voyager, and today I wanted to tell you the story of my personal journey, how I deconstructed my evangelical beliefs and how it saved my life. I was raised in a very rigid system that prioritized being a good Christian over everything else. It was literally in my blood. My father was a pastor. Both of my grandparents were pastors. I even found research that my dad was doing in grad school on our family tree, where he found evidence of clergy in our family line going back into like the 1800s. If I did have a destiny, it was hard for me to see it being anything other than following in those footsteps. So I did. I became a worship leader and eventually a campus pastor, and I settled into what I thought would be a lifetime of serving Jesus as my full-time job. The only problem was my life wouldn't stop falling apart. Whether through addiction or some other form of self-sabotage, I could not get my act together. Just couldn't do it. And it was really confusing because I was applying the same principles, I was believing in the same ideas, and I was committing with the same conviction that all my friends and colleagues were around me. We were all doing this together. But they weren't having my problems. After a few years of this, I was about to lose everything, namely my family. I wasn't a reliable or safe partner. I wasn't a present, intentional father. I was failing to show up for the people that needed me most, and I could not figure out how to stop it. And it wasn't for lack of trying. I got very good at repentance. I remember a big breakthrough that came in therapy. And I had this moment of clarity where I realized how little agency I had exercised over my life up to that point in time. I was talking to a relative years later about who I was back then, and they said it felt like I was always reading from a script. And I think that 100% nails it on the head. At a very early age, I was given a script that told me who I was supposed to be and what that looked like. And then I was held very rigorously to that standard. I didn't know what I wanted. I was told what I was supposed to want, and the conversation ended there. So that moment of clarity in therapy was huge. I didn't have to do what everyone else told me. I could have agency. Slowly at first, I stopped relying on other people's opinions to shape my actions, even God's. And then the craziest thing happened. It worked. I started becoming the person that all my religious mentors over the years had tried and failed to disciple me into. And I was doing it for me because I wanted it. And that really threw me for a loop because the strict religious system I was brought up in was very, very clear. The only way to get these kind of life-changing results is through an active, close relationship with Jesus. Full stop. So why did my life only begin becoming functional when I let those things slip away? I eventually came to the conclusion that I needed to re-examine everything. If this core truth of Christianity was proven demonstrably false by me just trying to survive, how do the other non-negotiables hold up to that level of scrutiny? It's been almost 10 years since I began this process, and it continues to this day. And this is the part that I think it's so often misunderstood. When you're raised in a religious system like I was, where belief in Jesus isn't only the most important part of your identity, which it is, it's also the basis for which you make all decisions in life. It's the foundation of your relationships, family, and friends. It's the roadmap for how to raise your children, what to do when life throws challenges at you. It's the safety net that prevents you from falling into the deepest trenches of despair and hopelessness. So what happens when one day you realize maybe you can't trust those truths like you thought you could? All that safety and security, relationships, community, identity, belonging, gone. Poof. Or at the very least, fundamentally changed and in not a good way. I think some people have this idea that it's like this gleeful relishing of all the sins you've never indulged in. No. It is a full-on ontological crisis. I was questioning the very fabric of the only reality I had ever known. And it fucking sucked. Sometimes it still does. But this is also the process that has been revealing to me who I actually am. What I believe, what I want, and what it will take to get there. With all that said, I'd really like to introduce you to my new song. It's called Pandora.
What's in the box?
If you're anything like me, you may start deconstruction in like a stage of denial. It's kind of like a grief process, honestly. It's already began, and once the process starts, there's really no stopping it. But you aren't ready to admit that.
Pandora, I never wanted to know her, but she just had to go show up.
The song is an interpretation of that panic that so often sets in when these kinds of journeys begin.
'Cause I don't wanna know.
I know the song has this like melancholic vibe, but I would still hope it could be an encouragement to people that have been in these places or are there now, that you'd feel seen, more understood, and less alone.
Whisper all the sweet nothings and keep them coming. White lies dressed in black tie that they might distract my eyes from the horror that they find in the middle of the room and for lines of equal size.
And for everybody else, I would hope that you might take away a bit of a better understanding, a little more empathy for the people that are going through this or have gone through deconstruction.
Oh, you can't tell me nothing. It's maybe kind of sort of like the line that would have worked in the past, but I leaned on the gas and I got out of town before I even opened my eyes. And then I opened my eyes.
Pandora releases on December 30th, so be on the lookout for that. My name is Dan the Voyager, and thanks for watching.
Pandora.